Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of Let's Play Battlefield Vietnam. Today we're fighting in the region of Ap Bao Dang, generally dubbed by the Americans as Junction City. We're back to waging war with the full capacity of the Vietnamese Liberation Army, or at least I think it is, and we're going to have to face against the largest airborne American operation since Operation Market Garden in the Second World War, which from what I remember was when they tried dropping into the Netherlands, I believe. Was it Arnhem? I'm not too sure. I'm not the best of my World War II knowledge. I need to brush up on it to be fair. But now as our helicopter is about to plummet to the ground, the fact that I spawned into this helicopter in the first place is rather remarkable. But with the helicopter approaching its swift end as it flies off the map, I want to try and take controls. Unfortunately, I'm not being allowed and we're busy deserting. Great. And so we witness our undoing. Anyway. We have a few bases already, and we need to fight for the urban area as well. What's generally the city part of Junction City. And I'm going to start that operation with a helicopter attack. There's no better way to do it after the fiasco at the beginning. After this I might commandeer a T-54 or a T-55 or a PT-76 or something along those lines. But not yet. For now I'm going to come in with the MI helicopter and bomb these Americans into submission with a few rockets. Or not. Alrighty then, let's get back to business. Not sure why my computer is making sounds, but as long as you can't hear them, it's all fine. I'm gonna get my tank now and begin a beautiful attack. I haven't driven a tank and I can't remember how long. So we're going to relish this experience, every single moment of it, as we advance into the city. It's funny that we've yet to encounter any Americans, although it's also slightly unsettling. I'm wondering where the hell they can even be. Ah, there they are. They've captured the old airstrip, so they now have access to a bomber plane to attack us. So we need to strike now or never. Because we're about to get our first taste of urban combat. I'm not sure if it's the first of the war, but it's the first one that I can remember. Because this series has been going on for almost a year at this point because of how slow I am with the old uploads. I'm sorry about that. I'll hopefully bring them back up to once per week when the summer rolls in. Maybe around July or August, but up until then, you'll have to get used to this. We've made it inside the city perimeter though, which means that we can start capturing a few more bases from the Americans. Caught sight of American armor, and meanwhile, this is actually their landing strip, the one that they've been so proud to show off. We're engaged in some tank-on-tank combat here, and we're about to enhance it quite significantly so we can knock out this American tank. In fact, I'm going to seize one of these American tanks. Oh, well, our comrade has already done it for us. Beautiful. Meanwhile, we're going to seize this one. The Pershing, I believe it's called. It's a heavy American tank, much superior to anything that we have, as far as I know. Because it can literally punch holes in this aluminium armor on the Sheridans. Now, we've taken out the American plane, although we've taken some severe damage from it striking us. But that is not to worry about, because on the other hand, we've seized this landing strip. We neutralized it first, and we're going to continue our attack on it. After that, we can seize one of these Sky Raider close air support planes, and use it to give the Americans a real taste of hell. Oh, he struck through one of those mutt rocket launchers. Well, they're a bunch of mutts, so it doesn't surprise me. It's perfectly named. Perfect. Now we need to gain more ground if we want the Americans to begin bleeding points. So now we're going to have to start clambering through the ruins of these beautiful buildings to try and capture another base. The Americans are launching a counterattack, but that's not my concern. My concern is making it through these buildings, through these apartment blocks and factories and so on, and taking the base. Once we do that, the Americans will be in a very vulnerable position that me and my comrades can take some rather swift advantage of. Up until then, there's not much else I can do. So we'll just hold fast and climb to the top of this building. I hear planes. I don't like the sound of planes, because usually when there's planes, they aren't our planes, because we're too poorly equipped. But now we're going to seize control of this base. I believe that it's here on the rooftop. Although I can't, for the life of me, find where exactly it is. Okay, we're about to die. And dead. Curses. In order for the Americans to begin bleeding points, we need to capture that base. And we cannot begin to do that until we've located where the fuck that actual flag is. Which for the moment is easier said than done. Now I'm wondering if we can make it past the wire. We did it. We've made it through the barbed wire, and so we're going to try and retake this base, or at least take it at any point whatsoever. Because otherwise the gap between ourselves and the Americans will never be large enough for us to win. So now we're climbing this ladder from the inside, because that's how we extremely clever East Asians do it. In fact, that was just a very intricate form of seppuku. Credits to the Japs for teaching us how to do it. I still need to cross over though. We need to get into there. We need to take that flag. But first we need to locate that flag. Where the fuck is that flag? Until I can figure that out, this is just going to become a really long slogfest against the Americans. And although I've nothing against gunning Americans down one by one and bringing them all to meet their maker, I just feel that there's a better way to do this. I'm sure that there is. There has to be. And so I'm going to try climbing this ladder from the outside. Oh, it doesn't work. Well, I guess you can't have it all. Maybe the flag's inside the building. Or maybe it isn't. Come on, flag. Come to me. Come to your rightful owner and capturer. Ooh, a TV set. Books. Literature. Actual civilization and culture. Imagine that here in Vietnam. I'm so proud. This is what we're fighting for here. And we're gonna keep fighting. And this is it, my last search for the flag. If I can't find the flag now, I'll never find it. Alright, fuck the flag, as we say. We've got Yanks to kill. Alright, so unloading the entirety of my ammunition to that American captured helicopter wasn't enough. So I'm going to seize a tank and begin an assault on the main American base. You may just witness what I think might be the very first two-part episode in the series. If you enjoyed those back in the day, you will enjoy this one too. So here we go. Let's go, come on! Meanwhile, Mr. Frenchy Brown, the brown man, has been taken down. That sounded like a Dr. Seuss rhyme right there. And perhaps I should start contributing to the old idea. I should go back to rhyming more often. It adds more lyrical quality in my videos. It romanticizes them, if anything. Because here we are witnessing the harsh realities of war in whatever the fuck this resolution is. But in fact there's so much to the conflict. There's such nobility, such beautiful gallantry. And I'm beginning to sound like a fascist. I should probably stop right here. So, essentially, basically, we are the Viet Cong. And we've taken out that American artillery piece, and if all goes well I can go right in through here and take out this entire American platoon. That's the way I like it. Meanwhile, we still have a couple of tanks here. Although the Americans are doing a really good job at taking them out with their missiles. So what is there for us to do? The only option, if you ask me, is to kill more white Yankee sons of bitches. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it with the utmost efficiency because I'm going to have to comment over all of it, and I don't want an extremely sore throat by the end of this. Interestingly enough, I could probably try and do a lot more communication via whistling than through traditional commentary, since it hurts my throat less. Let me know in the comment section if you want this this experimental form of self-expression to be used more often. Because I'm clambering into this Pershing now, and I'd be glad to just whistle along in the breeze while I gun down these American SOBs. I spy Americans, and there they are. Let's try and get this done quickly. Go straight through the old palm trees and shoot anybody that we see. I'd say that that's a good enough strat to take out any American. Fuck you! So at the moment the main objective is quite simply to decimate the American ranks up until they can't fight us any longer. I'm gonna see if I can do that with a helicopter, if I can get it done by air. Because at the moment our land attempts are being ended rather quickly by the Americans. And if our air attempts fail as well, we're going to turn this into a two-part episode which is going to involve a hell of a lot more whistling. The whistling breeze will accompany us as we continue our attack against the American ranks. Meanwhile, you took down another one of our tanks. Bad news, if you ask me. We don't need this kind of opposition to our attack. After all, we are in the right and they are in the wrong. Only they knew. Only they knew. Come on! Fuck. So I'll try another airborne offensive, using an American plane this time if I can get my hands on it. The Americans are 70 points below us, but it's not enough. And it looks like I'm going to have to resort to the old-fashioned battlefield Yugoslavia tactic of just killing until I can't kill any longer, until I've won the game. Meanwhile, it seems like whatever tank spawns there is cursed, because the last Americans to spawn in there didn't do anything either. There we go, he's alive now. And he's angry too. Looks like we set him off. Well, two can play at this game, don't you worry about me. That's Roger Lewis. Down and out. Now, because it's rather dangerous to go around in a jet plane with my piloting skills, I think I'll instead opt for this captured American Sky Raider. It's armed to the teeth, and there's the chance that we'll be able to use napalm against the Americans. That would be, quite honestly, epic. Now there's an American plane. And we can overshoot the American base as many times as we want. What's important is that we eventually bomb it. As we're doing right now. So we did it. We napalmed the Americans and their base. But apparently there were no casualties for them to take because they were all tipped off by somebody. I wonder who. Maybe somebody here would know. All I know is that the Americans have taken to the sky, and that there's a flag I can't capture for some fucked up reason, which obliges me really, to just kill Americans. Which, no matter how fun it seems on paper, can become quite tiresome work after a while. Because the Americans have recommenced their attack on the airstrip. So I'm going to get a helicopter and launch a counterattack, rather naturally. So here we are, up, up and away. Apparently one of our comrades there has a scooter. I might try taking that. There'd be no cooler way to fight against the Americans than on the back of a scooter, that's for sure. Now we have this American tank here, and the driver thought that he could challenge us. And we're here to prove him wrong. Now I wish we could actually capture this base. It would do us a world of good. But for some reason we aren't able to. And so there's no other thing we can do except resort to just slaughtering Americans en masse, as though war crimes didn't exist. And sure, we'll deny their existence anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we're finally engaging the Americans in some sort of combat. Rather farcical, since they can't even shoot back. But really, they deserve it. How many times have they slaughtered innocent civilians here in Vietnam with the civilians having no chance to shoot back? I can tell you quite a lot. Now where are the rest of these American sons of whores? Because I'm sure that they're in some concentration somewhere. Because they always are, really. Now it might be a worthwhile strategy to try and capture their main base. But before doing that we need to thin out their ranks. Such is the situation. And once they no longer have enough men to hold the base, I can swoop in and take it. Until then, there's quite a lot for me to do. While our comrades are busy actually pushing the front line somewhere. That's new and good. Meanwhile, the Americans are fleeing rather stupidly in this old Chinook helicopter, which I am going to take down about right now. Come on. Well, the helicopter is plummeting, but I no longer have any ammunition, so I'm going to have to land in the American base. Alright, so the first attempt wasn't successful. Maybe the second attempt will be, however. Or perhaps we should just seize this gunboat from the Americans. Because it's heavily armed and armoured. And we now have control over this cannon. If only it was useful for something. I guess I'll just leave it there. Scout these Americans out with my binoculars, as you do, and find them. So there we go. Now, with the situation that we're currently in, it looks like this episode is going to be a whole lot longer. So I think I'll put a premature end to it here, and we'll see each other all in the next episode. If you're enjoying the series, of course, don't forget to leave a like and a comment and to subscribe to my channel. I've been the Nerd Gamer, this has been Battlefield Vietnam, and this will all be continued rather soon.